I'm going out to the stables soon, so I'm doing this really quickly. But it's very important. The issue that this guy brought up is very important. Someone wrote in to ask me what I thought of the OJ parole hearing. And he was quite right when he said that hardly anyone seems to be speaking up about it, except for Atheism is Unstoppable, who did a horrifyingly good piece about it. A video I had to watch in small segments and then stop because it made me more sick than any horror film I've ever seen. And you wonder why a society as a whole would go so quiet about such a dreadful case. Looking at it from the outside, my feelings are that the silence could be due to a sort of national shame. It wasn't that there was a murder. Murders happen in the best of societies. It was that one of the pillars of civilization, the jury system and the principle of fair trial, just crumbled into dust as if it hadn't been made of anything very solid to begin with. It was a terrible reminder of this particular weak point of American society and how near to mob rule and social disintegration things really are. When a bunch of anarchists start tearing up the Berkeley campus, we can comfort ourselves with the thought that these are revolutionaries and not real, regular, law-abiding people. But if you can't rely on the courts, that's something else altogether. I, being British, am quite anti-gun, but I can well understand why Americans want to hang on to their firearms when they see a pantomime of a trial, which was a sort of looking-glass version of early American racial politics, as rotten, as evil, as diseased as any court would have been in the US South in the 1950s. The parole board aren't to blame for their release of Simpson. He appeared before them, dripping manufactured bonhomie, comfortable charm, and the obvious assurance of his own ascendancy, and whatever their personal opinions, they've only the evidence in front of them, and they, unlike the trial jury, are applying the facts. But this man is walking the streets while two families still suffer the pain of remembering a dead daughter, a dead son, all the potential halted, all the children and grandchildren who never existed and who never will exist, all the shared jokes, all the comforting words, all the memories, all the hugs, all never happening. Instead, all the family gatherings with this huge empty space where their loved one should have been. And worse than that, the overwhelming awareness that the original not guilty verdict was delivered, according to one of the jurors, because black people were angry with white people about something else altogether. If that really is true, I wish I believed there was a hell, because that's where these people belong. One of the 10 Commandments is, you shall not bear false witness. It's often translated as don't lie, but that's a mistranslation. Actually, the more accurate translation is don't commit perjury, and even that is a little bit too narrow for the full meaning of the word. It says that because the 10 Commandments is a list of the bare minimum of what you have to do to maintain any sort of a civilized society. And the 10 Commandments recognise that a reliable judicial system is essential to keep people from descending into animals. Just look at what the collapse of a fair judicial system has done to Muslim societies worldwide. A Muslim law has racial politics enshrined in the system itself. And what happens is you get mob rule after that. Using the courts for revenge or for supporting category 1 at the expense of category 2 undermines more than a local issue. It undermines civilization. And that's just what those jurors admitted to doing. The juror I saw interviewed seemed like the sort of person who goes to church every Sunday, and if she does, she probably sees the 10 Commandments right up there on the wall or wherever she goes to worship the God she has directly transgressed. I hope she remembers that from time to time, but I rather think not.